So welcome back. In the first part of this series on how to open and maintain your company in Hong Kong, I covered how to open the company in Hong Kong. In this second video, we'll be discussing about banking. So can you actually bank in Hong Kong? You may have seen that it was pretty tough to open accounts in Hong Kong, and actually it was. So since 2016, I would say since end of January 2016, it became extremely difficult to open a bank account in Hong Kong. I would even say impossible in certain cases, especially at the beginning. Why? Because we had FATCA rules for the American. For the rest of the world, it was the CRS, so the Common Reporting Standard, and its automatic exchange of information. And we also had the VATF that basically introduced some anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing rules for the banks. And these made the banks extremely nervous about compliance. So it became nearly impossible. In 2016, 2017, opening an account in Hong Kong, especially if you were a foreigner and not living in the city, was nearly impossible. But things has changed. We'll see how. So the first thing that happened early on after 2016 is the emergence of MSO virtual accounts. So MSO are money service operators. They use a custom license, not a banking license. So this is similar to the license used by Western Union, for example. And basically they use segregated accounts in major banks to store your money. They only do deposit taking, credit cards, foreign exchange. That's basically all the activities. They will not invest your money in anything. They just take the deposit and help you to send money, receive money, get a credit card, help you with your payments, and do some forex. So they tend to have really good forex rate. So these were really good alternatives to the banks at the beginning, and they tend to offer a really better interface than the banks as well. So people really like those MSOs nowadays. At the beginning, they were more like, okay, we need bank account, we can't get it, let's use the MSO. But nowadays, they really offer something different that is being valued by the clients. Now, the two best one in Hong Kong at the moment, as per 2024, and I really, the only two you should consider. The first one is Currency. Really good one is one of the initial one. We had Neat, which then failed and disappeared, and then Currency appeared almost at the same time. And the focus was really on Forex. The company is, or at least when I met the founder quite a few years ago, was really well managed. You know, they built it like a business, not a startup to try to get a lot of users, but something that makes money from the beginning. So that's why it's quite an interesting company to work with. Yeah, so that's a good option. The second good option is AirWallex. So AirWallex is a newer company in Hong Kong. You know, they appear after Currency, but they are huge. They raised, if I don't mistake, is 1.1 billion US dollar. So it's an Australian company initially, and they came to Hong Kong running an MSO. What they are really good at is working with e-commerce. They can even offer a payment gateway, their own payment gateway, so the equivalent of a Stripe if you want. So really interesting. The e-commerce clients love to work with them. Now, one of the issue with the MSO they have to be aware of is that your money will not be protected by the deposit protection scheme of Hong Kong. So in Hong Kong, in bank, if a bank go bust in Hong Kong and you have some money in the bank account, you will get $500,000 back, Hong Kong dollars, from the government. No, so the government will intervene to guarantee your money. But it's just 500K. It's not that much anyway. But with these MSO, apparently they are not under that scheme. So that's one thing to be careful with. So it's maybe not a great idea to go and store like millions of US in there. But actually, it's not a great idea to store millions in a small bank that you don't know anything about as well. So, but anyway, so be careful. It's really nice as an interface. No, it's good for starting. When you open a company with us, we immediately get you an AirWallex or a Currency account, and we don't charge anything for it. It's just part of the package, and it's really nice to start. It's also interesting to work with them if you don't have too much fund at the beginning, because banks will open accounts for you, but they will require you to put an initial deposit, which is about 100,000 Hong Kong dollars, 100,000 Hong Kong dollars most of the time. Okay, so yeah, good alternative, I would say, good service. No, even we have a lot of clients with bank that still use the service of AirWallex or Currency on the side because they prefer the interface, and they use the bank just to store the money. Okay. Now there's also a new thing that's quite interesting is the virtual banks. They really look like MSO. The difference is they work under an actual bank license. Okay. Now these banks, now the most famous one in Hong Kong at the moment is the ZA Bank, but they will only open account, at least as per today, they only open account for locals. So if you don't have a Hong Kong ID, you cannot open an account. At least that's what we check by making this video. So unless you are working here in Hong Kong, you're a Hong Kong resident, that's not really an option for you. But if you watch this video in 6 months, maybe just check on their website, maybe things has changed. No, because that's the thing in our business, things change really quickly. Banks, now, if you contacted me 3-4 months ago, I would say it's impossible to get an account if you're not a Hong Kong resident. I mean, nearly impossible. However, nowadays, it is possible. So we do have some partnership with a few banks now, so we can get you a bank account. Now, many people want HSBC account because it's the legacy bank in Hong Kong. Yeah, if you are a resident of Hong Kong, you can just go to an HSBC branch and most likely you will get the account with no problem. But if you are not a Hong Kong resident, then it's maybe not the best option because most likely you will be rejected. We have seen really few people getting success with HSBC. The two banks we work with as per 2024, we are now in end of January, is OCBC Bank. Okay, so the good thing with them is they have a full team that is dedicated to foreigners. So they are looking at getting more foreigner working with their banks. So they are really welcoming non-Hong Kong resident to open bank account with them. So really interesting. They will also enable you to do an application before coming to the city. So one thing I didn't mention with the MSO, so the first one, the MSO Virtual Account, you can open an account without traveling to the city. So this is really, really nice, So you never have to come to Hong Kong if you want, you just open the account with AirWallex or currency. Now, for the bank, they will require you to travel to Hong Kong. However, if you open with OCBC, they will do a pre-approval. So they will review your case, and after, when they approve you, they say, okay, it's good, we want you as a client. Then you have 1 month to come to the city, meet your relationship manager, and finish the compliance. So that's pretty sweet because then you don't have to waste a trip to Hong Kong to try. If you come, you know that you get your account, unless you suddenly become a member of the list of the most wanted of Interpol, or, you do something fishy on the side and you pop up on a list of sanctioned person, you should be fine. Okay, so this is with OCBC. The other bank we had quite some success with is Bankofchina. So Bankofchina, they don't have that special team, so you have to go to a branch and try, but they are really welcoming of non-residents, so worth trying if you want an account with them. So that's the two main banks I would say if you're not a Hong Kong resident. OCBC Bank, Bankofchina, that's where to go as per today. But stay tuned because things change all the time. As I said, 3-4 months ago, you couldn't get an account. HSBC, yeah, still a good bank. I bank with HSBC for 15 years now in Hong Kong, with both my personal and the business. So personally, I'm happy with them, but really difficult for non-resident to get an account there.